Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Phoenix, Arizona, it's time for Phoenix Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Hello and welcome to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Mac 6 Entrepreneurial Center in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. I'm Karen Nowicki, and I am ecstatic about our guest today, who's just across the pond, maybe a little further than that. We had a chance to meet Jasna, who is the CEO of Flourish, when AZ Tech Council invited us to meet some esteemed guests who were traveling from Montenegro to the States on a whirlwind tour, Arizona being one of many stops. Folks who are in technology and startup, a group of entrepreneurs who are supporting each other. And I was asked to be on a panel to talk a little bit about our business community, our tech community, and the whole idea around being an entrepreneur and an advocate for startups and small business. And I was so impressed with the entire group there. I did reach out to Jasna and a couple other people, and I said, listen, while we typically do interviews with Arizona businesses and industry leaders, I would love to hear about your travels after you finish your tour. Want to learn more about your business? Would you come and be a guest with us today? And Jasna graciously accepted. So with that, I so much look forward to having a conversation today with Jasna. Again, she is the CEO of Flourish, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me here. It's 10 p.m. here in Montenegro, so it's already night. And I'm so happy that I will be able to share my story about my startup Flourish, and let's flourish, yeah.
Let's flourish tonight for you. Now, if it were 10 o'clock for me and someone asked me to do it, I'd have to decline because I'm typically in bed by 8:30, maybe even a little earlier than that lately. My son is embarrassed for me, but I'm pleased that you were willing to work with us on our schedule. Let's start, for our listeners who may not know where Montenegro is, let's start about where you are in the world. And then I would love to have your introduction to Flourish and again, your history and background. And we've got all the time we need. So please just indulge us.
Montenegro is a small country across Italy on the Adriatic Sea. We have around 600,000 inhabitants. And I'm always making joke when we visit some big places, like it was in United States, and then somebody asked, so how many inhabitants you have in Montenegro? And I said, like 600,000, but only a few of us came today. I didn't brought a whole Montenegro. Montenegro is a beautiful country. We have a seaside, we have mountains, and we have lake in the middle. And within one day, you can basically visit seaside and you can swim. And if you are lucky enough, you can even ski on the, on the northern part of
and make that all in one day. It's that that small.
You can do it in one day, and it's quite connected. We have flights that connects us with other part of Europe. So within like 1.5 hours, you are in Vienna, for example. So it's a very nice country.
And you grew up there. This has been home for you.
I'm born in Montenegro, but I lived for like 10 years. Basically, I completed my basic school in Bosnia.
Okay.
So I had this experience with war in Bosnia when it started. And that was the time when I moved back to Montenegro and started with my high school and later on completed university. My background is basically mathematics and computer science. And I was in IT, and I still am in IT for more than 20 years. So basically, I was one of rare women within IT at the time when I started working. And at this moment, I'm one of rare women entrepreneurs in startup world. This is something that I learned, that it is not only situation here in Montenegro, but obviously in whole world we have lack of women entrepreneurs and we have lack of female startup founders. Yeah, I'm pretty rare, it seems so.
I love it. fantastic. You're a driving force and a leader in that. I had forgotten that when you gave your introduction, when we had a chance to meet in person, that you had the IT background. And so I'm excited to hear that again because Flourish is your work resonates with my heart. And yet, coming from the IT background, when our listeners hear, what you're doing now, it may not seem like this natural fit. But please introduce us to Flourish, and then how you found your way to creating this company.
Flourish is a mobile app that actually grow your emotional intelligence. So it measure current level of emotional intelligence and then prepare your development plan. And this is basically exercises that are fully gamified. So it's entertaining, and you are doing it like in spans of less than 10 minutes per day, and already within few weeks you can feel progress. You can feel that your emotional intelligence is growing, it's improving, and you can measure your progress. So it's about growth of emotional intelligence. Karen, you have right. It doesn't seem so connected, like IT and on one side and then emotional intelligence on the other. So I would like to tell you a story how it happened. It all started in 2019. And 2019, I decided that after almost 20 years in corporations, that I will start my own business. And my business was about education. So I wanted to do things that I really love to do. I wanted to do things that I know that can provide enough money for me and my family that we can live off. Yeah. So it was basically like living my purpose. For me, it was very important that anything that I will going to do in this entrepreneurship journey, that it's somehow connected with changing world for better, at least a bit. I wanted to feel that I can somehow give something. It was really important that my life has meaning, greater meaning that only I'm manager. I was leader for more than 13 years. I was IT director in biggest telecommunication company in Montenegro within Deutsche Telekom Group. So, I had really big roles, important roles, which I loved. But then I was thinking, okay, can I do something more? So I got this idea that I'm going to teach children here in Montenegro to be successful in digital age. How? By developing their digital skills, by developing their emotional intelligence and creativity and critical thinking all in one. So I got idea about innovative educational program for kids. It's called More Than Programming. And that was really cool. But the thing was that I didn't have any certification, any, let's say, formal knowledge connected with emotional intelligence. I was only reading a lot. I was attending educations, but I'm not a psychologist. And, I didn't have anything firm in my hands that I could use for this training. And I was thinking, okay, so I need that. And I was investigating and found an excellent training in United States, of course, Institute for Social Emotional Intelligence. And they had a training that lasts around 6 months. And it's basically applied psychology, but focused on emotional intelligence. And I became certified coach for emotional intelligence. The thing is, while I was attending this program, thanks to my IT background, I realized it was like a moment, it was discovery. Oh my God, I can create a digital coach for development of emotional intelligence. And the thing about emotional intelligence is that amazing thing about emotional intelligence is that you can develop it during your whole lifetime. So you're not stuck like with IQ around 16 years, it stops developing, and then you can only help yourself from degrading it by performing some exercises. But EQ, or emotional intelligence, can be improved your whole life. And this is this is really good. You can build your motivation on that fact, because this is fact. This is scientifically proven. That's a great thing, but unfortunately, people think that current ways for developing of emotional intelligence are expensive, complex, and not effective. So you need a lot of time, a lot of money, and it's very hard to track progress during that journey of developing your emotional intelligence. So I was aware of these problems, and then solution was there. Okay, let's make a digital coach. Of course, that it cannot replace human 100%, and that was not intention. But intention was like, okay, let's help that a person can develop emotional intelligence, like, for example, 80%, and then additional 20% can be done with some human coach or psychologist or with some trainings or so on. So let's maximize potential of it. And you can do it whenever you want. You are not constrained to some time and date, and you don't need to pay enormous amounts of money. And it's really fun. So that's how Flourish was invented. Basically, when idea came, I waited almost 1 year to start working on it, because I started with this training for children called More Than Programming, and I was focused on that, and all my resources was on that. And then happened Corona. So in March 2020, everything stopped. Schools were locked, including my school. For children. And I personally faced as well one, let's say, personal issue. My youngest son was really ill. So I felt like whole world was somehow crashing around me, because I left corporations where I was really safe. I had good salaries. I had some security there. And I left it for running after my ideas. And then everything stopped. And I had a child who needed expensive medical attention at that time. And I was feeling like, oh my God, what to do now? Corona stopped everything. And I needed something. And in that moment, idea about a digital emotional intelligence coach again came to my mind. And I asked my best friend, Valentina. Valentina was together with me on that training. We attended it together, and we had actually same background. She is as well IT lady from IT, and she was at that moment technical director within Deutsche Telekom Group. So I asked her, okay, would you like that we go for this startup together? She's my best friend. So she said yes. And, I needed that at that moment. I needed somebody who will believe that this might happen. And she believed. So we started working together on that idea, and we applied for one local Montenegrin accelerator. And we were admitted, and we actually won their support. That was really great thing. We got a chance to present this idea, to work with mentors. And, although I'm like senior, when you look age structure in this startup world, you could say, oh my God, but why you need mentors or why you need somebody when you have so much experience? Because after telecommunication, I was working like 2 years in insurance companies in sales and marketing positions. I was director of sales and marketing. So I had this full span. There was leadership, there was ICT skills, and then I had sales and marketing. So, I could do it. But actually, startup world is completely different.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And what applies to corporations, you can't apply same rules to startup. So we were wise enough to know that we need help. And accelerators are really great thing for beginners in startup world to get help and to boost their ideas and to crash it and leave it if needed, or to really make them grow. And we had great mentors, and we managed to validate our business idea. To validate it, we managed to build a prototype, to test this prototype, and to realize that we are on good track. So that's how things started. And then we applied to another, let's say, bigger accelerators, one supported by European Union. That was great thing because we got support from consultants from Deloitte, for example, and consultants from Deloitte did market sizing for Flourish. And when you are in small country like Montenegro is, and when you get consultant from UK telling you that, oh my God, you have potential market size of 6.7 billions yearly, constant growth rate, yeah, then you feel that you have jam in your hands. You have jam in your hands, and you understand at this moment that actually whole world now is connected. You can grow, you can flourish whenever you are, and that's really good thing. That's really good thing. Later on, we won support of UNDP accelerator, UNDP for Europe and Central Asia. They had accelerator called Boost, and we got their support. Later on, we won their competition. So we was chosen like one of best startups in Europe, who helps in achieving sustainable development goals. So this is another thing that we are really proud of. So it's not only that we are going to earn big money, become billionaires in the future, but actually we are helping that world will become better place. And this is not like only imagination of one Jasna and Valentina from small Montenegro, but it's something that is confirmed by a big organization like UNDP. And then you really feel encouraged to continue and to push and to work on that, and then bring your baby product alive.
Yeah. So. Incredible background. And such a needed app, as crazy as COVID has been for all of us worldwide. And I think many of us have a similar revelation or experience like you did with your son, and just, oh my gosh, did I leave my corporate job at the wrong time? And is this really something I can do? And I've got to care for my kids now that they're at home. And, I think many of us have been faced with some version of that. I often think about the folks who've poured their life savings into opening maybe a brick and mortar business, a coffee shop, or even something that's online right before or right as COVID was hitting. And I can't imagine what that felt like, laying awake at night for those, type of stories, which all goes to how important Flourish is and what you offer. I'm a coach myself. I do shadow work and Tao integration as well as trauma integration. So like you, this has been part of my life and my trajectory, always wanting to improve myself personally and emotionally. And it's been part of my career as an educator, and then, of course, in the work that I do here in our business community. So for me personally, I value it a great deal. And I echo what you say about sometimes how developing our personal aptitudes around emotional intelligence, even having a growth mindset versus, whatever stuck standard mindset, people begin to think that it's only for other people, right? It's only for the leaders or people who have discretionary income or those sorts of things. Some will pick up books and read them, but there's also not always the accountability piece, which you've spoken to about Flourish. Or if you're not a great reader and you don't have that muscle built on how do I apply this, how do I put this into practice, then that piece is missing. And I've spent a lot of money year after year with coaches and retreats and those sorts of experiences, and have always been grateful. And now that there's an app available that can help it be readily available in my own timing, sounds like a gem. It's just incredible. And it's so needed right now because of the way the world has just kind of gone on tilt. So kudos to you. Talk a little bit, if you would, please. You mentioned that you have a prototype. Is the intention to have the app available to just general lay people, or will it be something that maybe a business purchases on behalf of their teammates, or is it both? Could you speak a little bit to the intended audience and the intended customer?
So fast forward from this start of realization of idea, yeah, that happened in COVID. It started actually in April 2020. So that's the moment when we officially started and put things on paper. Now, from 1st December of last year, we have ready a B2B version. B2B version, so that means for companies, yeah. We call it Smart Employee Growth Assistant.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, and when it was ready, we did the process of validation. Luckily, we got support from few really big companies and organizations. So UNDP obviously supported us because we were winners. So employees from several of their offices were using Flourish for 2 months and gave us feedback. We had PricewaterhouseCoopers as well on board. So that was great. And at that moment, one bank, really big bank, international, from Austria, actually, Erste Bank, they decided to use Flourish for 30% of their employees. So it was really like 2 months of, if I want to explain how it looks like, it's like your child is ready to go somewhere without you for first time. You don't know, you try to learn, teach him how to behave or so on, but actually you don't know how he or she will manage. And you simply let them go. And then you wait for them to return and to tell you how it went by. So after 2 months of this validation, we got results. And you can imagine that I couldn't sleep waiting these results. And it was really positive one. So basically we validated Flourish. Almost 100% of users found it easy to use, amusing. Above 80% felt benefits, like that their emotional intelligence were improving during this period. And basically when we did with this validation, it happened that that Flourish, together with group of startups under organization called Digital Den from Montenegro, and support from US Embassy in Montenegro, that we got the chance to travel to USA and to present our startups. So it happened that I would say the most beautiful thing that happened to me and to Flourish is during our visit to Denver University. So when we were in Denver University in Colorado, the director of their Center for Entrepreneurship at Denver University, he said immediately when we sit together, like, who is Flourish? And I said, okay, I am Flourish. I'm CEO of Flourish. And he said, I absolutely love Flourish. And I would like the Denver University use Flourish for their students. Yeah. So it happened that we were at USA from 12th till 26th of February. And then on 26th of March, first group of students from Denver University started using Flourish.
Congratulations. Wow.
Yeah. And after 1 month, or almost 1 month, because it ended there. The survey ended on Monday, and I'm not sure what was it. So the Monday was 25th of April. So on 25th of April, we got results of survey. So you can imagine that I didn't sleep again.
Right.
I hardly sleeping, it seems so, and basically above 80% of students found that Flourish, and they think that Flourish improves emotional intelligence. And 80% of them think that Denver University should buy Flourish for all of their students.
Those are fantastic statistics, right? I mean, I'm feeling going into these types of case studies or focus groups, whatever word we're using for it. What percentage were you hoping for? To 80% to me sounds outstanding.
It is definitely great results, but I'm always expecting more. So I was like, why not?
A true entrepreneur, of course.
Yeah, of course. But these are really excellent results. So now we will have a meeting next week to talk about next steps.
Yep.
And I hope.
And all the while, right, you're continuing to improve the app and make the adjustments and the changes. And wow. And when I said congratulations, I'm not, of course, just speaking to that partnership with Colorado, but also all the other companies that have run alongside you and been champions for you and said, let's get this out to the world, and how can we help, and have already used your services from a B2B perspective. Congratulations.
So looking into stories of other startups, I know that we made already, let's say, a huge jump. So from idea to working product. So this is really a big thing. But there are still a lot of things ahead of us. So I will tell you honestly that from 1st of March, when we officially said, okay, now we are going for sales. Yeah. So now we will try to sell these licenses and to companies. I realized that although I had like 2 years of experience in corporations with sales and marketing, and as an entrepreneur, I'm constantly selling my services. So that's it. But basically, that I have no clue, or I was quoted Aristotle like saying that all I know is that I don't know, that I do not know nothing. So, and for me, it was like facing, oh my God, I need to learn more how to sell innovative startup software product all around the world. And this is really now like a learning process. I hope that very soon we will have a help. We will get like consultant who will help us to work more on strategy. Mm-hmm. But while we are waiting for consultant, we are not waiting. So we are working. I'm knocking to doors together with my colleagues on board. We managed to apply to some conferences. And a few days ago, we got a note that this bank from Montenegro that was brave enough actually to use Flourish in such a, let's say, in this first phase, when we basically didn't have other clients in the system, mm-hmm. That their story about experience with Flourish was selected among 6 most successful HR stories from our region. So we will have chance at the end of May to present and be presented actually in Belgrade to one big HR conference. So that's a big thing.
Huge.
Another big thing is that we signed contract with first distributor from first region. It will be our neighborhood country, Serbia. It's growing, and it
sure is. And is it just the two of you right now, full time?
There are 2 of us full-time, Valentina and myself, yes. But we have as well partners. When we started working on Flourish, we realized that, of course, 2 of us can't do it, that we need more people. And we decided, instead of hiring programmers and other designers and psychologists to be like full-time on board with us, that we are going to make a partnership with software development company. And we did it with company Amplitudo. They are really one of biggest IT companies here in Montenegro with fast-growing team. We knew them we knew them for like 15 years or something. So we knew that, and we made partnership with them. And of course, we have several psychologists that are working on contract base with us. So our team is like broader, but I would say that mostly, or like my 25 hours per day are allocated to Flourish now, while my colleague Valentina is keeping us alive because she's working other things.
Yes. Well, again, a true entrepreneur story, right? This is the nature of startups. Yeah.
Exactly.
Could you talk a little bit about, you've already spoken to the success of that you experienced here in the States. Let's talk a little bit about the comparison between the startup ecosystem and entrepreneurs in Montenegro and Europe and compared to what you understand with the US. Are there any challenges specifically that you noticed that you've been up against that maybe here in the US or even, that we haven't been faced with?
I've noticed, of course, few differences. I would say that the biggest difference and what is amazing for me is a culture which is connected with entrepreneurship and startups in Europe, where Montenegro is as well, of course, and in USA. And it's about culture of failure. So here in Montenegro, and I noticed that the same thing is in Europe. So it's not so well perceived if you had failures. And if you are in startup world, you will have a lot of failures. I mean, this is a way of learning. This is a way of improving. And it happens all the time that you have like one idea, and then it happens that, you learn during this journey that this idea should be modified. And then you have like failure and you start up again and so on. So I noticed that culture in USA is different. So it encourage that you should try, that you should build your business. And if you fail, it's fine. I mean, you will grow up again, you will stand on your feet again, you will build another business. And here you are doomed. I mean, if you fail, they will not work with him or her because, he's like failure. Is this person capable of do something? So the culture is different and people are hiding when they are failing. And that's really a big problem because if you are not admitting that you have a problem and that you need help, you will fail even worse.
Yeah.
So that's the biggest thing. And another thing is I've noticed during visiting United States, and we visited 4 states, and in each state we visited universities, 1 or even more. We noticed that this culture that encourage entrepreneurship, including startups, is really there, and that students during their studies, they can apply for competition, they can try on. There is a very supportive climate for that. Mm-hmm. When I compare that to Montenegro, I would say that we are starting with that, but it's not there fully developed. So there are still a lot of space for improvement. Mm-hmm. I'm personally working as a part-time teacher assistant at university as well. And I'm working a lot with young people. I mentor whenever there is opportunity or whenever I'm asked to be a mentor, I'm there. And I can see and I can tell that we here need more of that. We simply need more, and we need to learn our children and our students that it's completely fine to fail.
Right. Again, back to the whole purpose of Flourish and emotional intelligence, right?
Exactly.
Yes, the growth mindset versus a fixed mindset.
Yeah.
How can either entrepreneurs, business owners, or even higher educational leaders best support this shift that obviously Europe is making, right? And you've kind of witnessed that our higher education institutes are now including entire degrees, several different kinds of degrees and departments dedicated to startups and entrepreneurships with the competitions and actually the funding and those sorts of things. We've been very impressed here at Business Radio X with the amount of people who've come and shared their stories and how they're helping entrepreneurs, both with funding and mentoring and education. So back to my question, when you look at the challenge, what needs to happen? Do you have what introductions can we help you make? What needs to change to enrich in the opportunities and have it be less in the shadows and this, kind of scary, you must be crazy kind of thing to do, where it's more encouraged and taught? What do you think? What needs to happen?
Things like tonight, that happens tonight, that you have me as your guest, that I'm allowed to speak up, to be heard. These more things like that should happen, because for example, when I now reach for potential client or partner from small country somewhere, who knows where the Montenegro is, somewhere across Adriatic Sea, or we don't know, people are suspicious, like maybe this is some kind of scam. It happened to me when I reach out and ask for a meeting, that it's not only about ignoring. It's like I can tell that there is lack of belief that really there is some good product somewhere in some small country. So it's really hard to pass this barrier. So what happened at the Denver University and the way how they embraced this innovative idea, and they were willing to try it, to give a chance to us. It was really a great thing. So I don't know, more opportunity to be heard.
Yes.
I'm really proactive. I can tell you that from the day that we started working on Flourish, we applied to so many competitions, so many opportunities to be heard. I was personally speaking at some conferences, really big conferences last year and previous year, and I had a chance to mention what we are working on. And now we will talk even more because we have working product, yeah?
Yep.
And we want to go in next phase with that product as well. So we need to work on B2C version and to make it available for each individual on the planet, so that each person can download it from the App Store, Play Store, and use it and improve their emotional intelligence. What we decided from the first day is that part of the app will be are free and will always be free. So basically, whoever use the app can test their emotional intelligence and can learn about what he needs to improve and how to recognize how lack of these competencies affecting their everyday life. So one can always read about it and can see results of the test. But actually, if you want to play exercises and perform exercises, then you need to go for subscription. So that's the idea, to let's say raise awareness that each person basically can be tested with psychological tests and discover their level of emotional intelligence, because that actually our success is coming from maximizing our strengths and minimizing impact of our weaknesses. So if we get to know what are our strengths and which competencies of emotional intelligence are are let's say well developed, and if we learn where we have weak points, we already gained something. So that's the idea. So I believe that till the end of this year, we will have B2C version as well.
Wow, that's aggressive. Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you spend your days making those introductions and again, putting yourself out there, when you sit back and think, if only I knew somebody in this kind of position, or if only I knew somebody from this industry, who is that? Is there that kind of like reach? Like, gosh, if I could just have more of this, or if I could know someone here,
Um,
who is that? Is there anybody?
yeah, of course. I would like to meet more brave HR directors
Okay.
who are willing to give a chance for such a digital coach
Hmm.
of emotional intelligence, because that could change the way how they do education of their employees.
Hmm.
So idea is that the whole company is now using an app. They have something to talk about as well over coffee.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's not only about development, emotional intelligence, but you have as well a topic that you can discuss with your colleagues. So how you did this exercise,
Yep.
how much points you have there, and uh, uh, and so on and so on. And on the other side, finally, with Flourish, HR management can track progress of development
Yep.
of the employees. So they can clearly see how they are developing. And if you take in account latest reports about what HR directors and leaders as well, CEOs, thinks about most important skills that employees should possess, it's definitely soft skills, which
Yep.
is actually emotional intelligence. But what they found as the problem is that it's pretty expensive to educate all employees
Hmm.
and to raise their soft skills to another level. And another thing is that there is actually, it's not effective. When I say it's not effective, the issue is that, for example, if I enroll myself to some training, for example, training of communication, or let's say assertive communication, so I can go for a training of assertive communication, and after few days, after training is completed, if I didn't apply this to practice, I will forget like 50% of it. After a month, I will forget almost everything.
Right.
The thing about Flourish is that, like each day you practice a bit.
Hmm.
And after some time, it becomes habit. So
Hmm.
assertive communication becomes your habit. And you can use it easily because it's inside you. You adopted the change.
Yep.
So, yeah, I would like to meet. This is open invitation
Yes.
to HR directors who are willing to use an innovative solution who can really make a change. And that's it
Yeah.
basically.
Well, that's why I asked because, as you mentioned, having an opportunity to have this available for people to listen to and to share, and it's Creative Commons content, so it's our gift to you. We hope that you'll share it, and we'll do the same. I'm always thinking. I already think of a couple of. I can think of a couple introductions that I know people in some of the areas that you spoke of. That I don't know that they would be able to help, but at least they are the kind of people like you and I who would want to lend an ear, find out what you're doing, and then could do the same thing that I'm doing. Who else do I know, right? So I think that makes a grand difference. And I'm really glad we got to this last little section of our conversation around how important this is for HR and for companies to adopt. We talk a lot about culture here in the studio. We have a show that Kendra Maples is the host for, and it's called Culture Crush. And she decided to host that show and create that whole show and community based on her experiences by getting hired by companies for the roles that she wanted to play in those companies, only to find out that what they said on paper or on their website about their great culture didn't really match what was really happening behind closed doors. And I think that's where emotional intelligence and problem solving and all the things, all the soft skills really come into play. And whether it's top down or bottom up, these are critical things. And the fact that Flourish will give you those tangible moments, the consistency, small little bites or more if you want them, and the metrics and the measurable, so that it really can be justified, and it becomes the science, right? And I think that's the piece that's been missing. It's been so subjective with a lot of these programs. How do you show that there's been a big difference? And sometimes because these programs can be so expensive and you send someone to a retreat and they're gone for a week or even 3 days and they come back, because of the price point, you're only sending your middle managers, your managers from above, and then they're relying on teaching other people, and that doesn't always work. So again, I am blown away about your presence, your experience, the tenacity that you have and the grit that you have to bring this to market. And really that we get to have this conversation today and help you put the word out to more people who would not only benefit from Flourish and the product, but also can help you make that worldwide impact. Yeah, really thrilled to have this conversation today. Is there anything that I haven't thought to ask Jasna that you want to make sure our listeners are aware of before we close out our segment today?
I enjoyed in conversation tonight, I will
Yes.
say tonight. And I really felt like we started 5 minutes ago.
Good. We always say that it's going to feel like that. I'm glad it worked for you. Yeah.
So it's really pleasant. I think that we touched all points. We will flourish, definitely. Flourish will flourish. And thank you for supporting it at the very beginning, because, when you give helping hand to somebody at very beginning, or let's say in the right moment, it really, really counts.
Yes, it does.
So thank you.
Oh, my pleasure. And I do look forward to making a couple introductions. And as they come up, Daryl, our producer, and I will continue to keep you in mind. Please let us know where we can stay in touch with you. You are on LinkedIn.
Yes, I'm on LinkedIn.
Yes. And so and we'll have this printed once it's a podcast, but for those of you listening right now, it's LinkedIn and it's Jasna Pejovic. Did I say that correctly? Right? So that's JASNAPEJOVIC. Again, we'll have it in the show notes. Also Facebook, Flourish Mob app. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. Flourish, like mobile, right? Mob app. Okay. I didn't say that correctly. And then Instagram as well, Flourish app. I know that you and I are connected on LinkedIn and Facebook personally, but I'll need to go make sure we're connected for your business pages as well. The invitation, I would imagine, is open. If anybody's listening today, they want to touch base with you, they're curious about the B2C app or B2B, or even want to just get you in front of their HR team, they can reach out via LinkedIn or even the website.
Exactly.
Yes.
Thank you.
And of course, and is there a specific website? I said website, but I know your social. Do you have a?
It's flourishapp.me.
Okay, flourishapp.me. Excellent. Well, I love this, even though, again, we're across the pond and we've only met once in person and you had to wait patiently for us to reschedule after I had to have a hip replacement. I am thrilled that we had a chance to connect tonight in your case and today for Daryl and I. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to hear your story and your progress. And if we can make any introductions that you see that I haven't pointed out, you reach out and let us know. We will be honored to do that. You've been listening to Phoenix Business Radio, broadcasting live from the Max 6 Entrepreneurial Center right here in Tempe, Arizona, where we help build businesses and connect you with the right people. Some media leans left, some media leans right. We lean business and startups. Until next time, I'm Karen Nowicki. Thanks for listening.